CBS 6 Sports, sponsored by Toyota.
CBS 6 Sports live out at Richmond Raceway, where they are holding their Track Laps for Charity event, something they do every year to benefit both Victory Junction Gang and Richmond Raceway Cares. And so, since they let you come out and drive your own car on the track, we thought we'd borrow Storm Rider from the weather department and take it out on the track. Track President Lori Warren has been brave enough to ride shotgun with us. Have you ever done this before?
Ride shotgun?
No, on the track.
Yeah, a lot. I do it daily, but I got to tell you, I go a lot slower than you're going right now, Lane.
Don't say that. Don't say that. My boss is listening. He's never going to let me drive this again.
He's driving immaculately.
Tell us about what Richmond Raceway Cares. It's some of the charities that you help here in the area with the money from things like this.
So for tonight, folks can come out, pay $20, 5 laps around the track in their own car, and it goes to benefit Richmond Raceway Cares and another nonprofit, Victory Junction. Now, we are so excited because our charities are able to give back to a lot of local charities here. We give back to Children's Hospital, local YMCAs, Boys and Girls Club, and that's what this is all about.
JMU's only loss this year was to a Power 4 team on the road at Louisville, but Oregon's only loss this year was at home to an Indiana team coached by Curt Cignetti, the former JMU boss, who had a little bit to do with the Duke's roster that the Ducks will face this Saturday night. From Bridgeforth Stadium in Harrisonburg, Lane Casadante, CBS 6 Sports. If Orioles fans weren't sure exactly what to expect out of the veteran right-hander, neither was he.
I had already dealt with a lot of failure. I'd already dealt with a lot of challenges, physical, mental, emotional. I think I've been able to weather a lot, and at 41 years old, I don't really know what those expectations should even look like.
Morton holds the distinction of being the last former Richmond Brave that is still active with any team at any level of the game. But he almost had to give up that distinction earlier this year when the beginning of his season did not start out like he and the Orioles had envisioned.
Patterson currently has about a dozen kids who come regularly to his cramped space and less than regulation range. Patterson's commute is convenient.
All right, what are we waiting for?
But there's a bigger reason for his smaller scale.
We don't charge his kids a dime. And so if I was to go out and find gym space, I'd have to focus on bringing clients in, making money. And that takes away from the kids. And if I'm focused on that, we're not building champions like we're building right now, taking these kids off. And some of these kids can't pay. They don't have the ability to, their parents don't. And we bring them in and give them an environment where sometimes, they're going home and going right to sleep, and they're not in doing silly stuff out there.
Welcome to the Dudley Awards, sponsored by Renewal by Anderson.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our special presentation of the 2025 Dudley and Lanier Awards here on CBS 6. Back in 1990, the Touchdown Club of Richmond had the idea to honor the best college football player in the Commonwealth with our version of the Heisman Trophy. It is named for Bullet Bill Dudley, a Bluefield native who played at UVA and in the NFL for the Steelers, Lions, and Redskins. Mr. Dudley is enshrined in both the college and pro football halls of fame, and his legacy lives on in this award every year. Here are the 3 finalists for this year's honor.
Our friends at Wells Fargo Advisors have chosen Brian Catanzarite from the University of Richmond as the recipient of this year's Humanitarian Award. The player, known as Big Cat, has been a dedicated volunteer and advocate for the Richmond Animal League, and partnered with the RAL to produce a video highlighting not just the Spiders' schedule, but adoptable pets and raising awareness for animal rescue. Brian has also taken part in Spiders' bone marrow drive, organ donor registration, and health awareness efforts.
And Brian joins us in the studio tonight. Congratulations on this honor, and I guess with a nickname like Big Cat, it's no surprise that you'd be working with animals, but what is it about animals that just draws that out of you?
Well, I guess the biggest thing is I personally love animals, and these animals, they don't have a voice, so if I could use my platform to kind of bring the awareness of how many animals don't have homes, then that's what I'm going to do.
Curtis Allen, running back from Virginia Union. Curtis continues the recent tradition of Panther running backs to win this award. He and Jada Byers have now combined to win 3 of the last 4 Lanier honors. He is the 3rd player from Virginia Union overall to be so honored. And the former Prince George standout has joined us here in studio tonight. Congratulations. Now, I got to be 100% honest. When Jada did what he did last year, we were like, oh, nobody's ever going to top that. It took all of 12 months for someone to top that. What worked so well for you in the Panther offense this year?
Just, following the game plan that Coach Parker set for us every game, and, us having the will and want to go out there and play for each other. So that's really what it was.
Okay, our final award of the night is ready. On behalf of our voting panel and the Touchdown Club of Richmond, I'm happy to announce that the winner of this year's Bill Dudley Award is Alonzo Barnett, the quarterback from James Madison. Barnett is the 2nd Duke in the past 3 years to win the Dudley Award. He is the 6th player from JMU to win all time and their 4th different quarterback. Alonzo couldn't be here with us tonight, but he did send along this message.
What's up, everyone? JMU quarterback Alonzo Barnett III. I just wanted to say how much of an honor that it is to be added to a great list of names that have won the Bill Dudley Award. I also want to give a special shout out to my athletic trainers, Sonia, Tyler, Noah, for helping me along the way, strength coordinator, AG, Coach Growski, Coach Jack, Coach Greg, my family at home that have really helped me get to this point. Me and my teammates have been building something special throughout this past year and the season. We were able to cap it off with the Sun Belt Championship, and now the opportunity to go to the college football playoff and represent this great university. Thank you to the voting panel, and go Dukes.
It was very disappointing, and I was crying because I couldn't play no more.
Grace missed the first 6 games of the season rehabbing her injury and came back as soon as she was able. Her example made a big impact on her teammates. So much so, one of them made an on-the-field sacrifice so she could make history.
We had a breakaway play, and one of our running backs fell right there at the 5-yard line. Clear, he could have went for a touchdown. I was like, what are you doing? And they're all yelling, put Grace in, put Grace in. So we stopped, called timeout. I said, Grace, you're up. It's your turn.
Grace is in the game. Look at her.
The play is called 24 ISO, one Grace has run hundreds of times in practice. When it counted for real, she didn't miss. Dozens of girls had played football in Virginia before her, but none has ever scored a touchdown. Grace Reza made VHSL history in her first game back. The Royals are expecting an all-star caliber year out of their first baseman, who gets a significant part of his support from his hometown.
It's super special being from the 804. My bat model used to be called the 804, the P804. It's still in circulation. I just use a different bat now. So yeah, it's super special to me, and couldn't be more proud of where I'm from and those roots there.
Pasquantino still maintains his ties with his 804 roots, but did you know he also has a connection with us here at CBS 6, one that he contends helped jumpstart his pro career.
Vinny Pasquantino, the James River High School.
Pasquantino played rec league basketball as a freshman in high school, with a young head coach modeling his style after a bombastic Hall of Famer.
Do you want to have a losing season, or do you want to finish this thing out strong?
It helped prepare Pasquantino for what was to come in the big leagues.
I don't think I'm here today without John Burkett, just teaching that intensity.
I want 5 guys to raise their hand that want to play basketball today.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Week 11 of Final Score Friday. Sean and I joined tonight by the Jaguars from Glen Allen High, who had a chance to cement their playoff standings in their regular season finale. And the playoffs are set tonight. We're going to do our best to let you know where everybody is seated as we go through the show. But our game of the week had no such concerns for each team, who were both squarely inside their respective regional rankings.
Both Manchester and Huguenot were not only in our top 5, but they were assured of at least one more game beyond tonight.
Statement from the Falcons
actions tonight. Back north of the river, 6th-ranked Highland Springs on the road at Hanover. Hawks had not beaten the Springers since 2011, while the Springers hadn't had 4 regular season losses since 2008. Second quarter, Springers up 3-0. Eric Bird, 39 yards to pay dirt. First touchdown of the game gives Highland Springs a 10-0 lead. Hanover, though, deep in their own end. Sam Rogers calls the fake punt, and they connect on it for the first down. That would set up later the swing pass out to Joel Nicholson, who finds Jonathan Gilmartin behind the defense. 33 yards on the touchdown, 10-6. Springers led at the half. Third quarter, Hanover goes to the air again. Nicholson again, 37 yards this time to Lane Zyglock. And the Hawks have a 12-10 lead. Springers would answer with an Antoine Richardson 4-yard touchdown run. This went back and forth all night. The Springers outlast the Hawks 30-27 on a late 99-yard kickoff return.
I got caught off guard a few times throughout the year with, you know, some of the invites and the call-ups. AA was a big jump, just pitching-wise, and you know, just like the teams as a whole. You know, better fielding, better hitting, better pitching at the bullpen.
He is the Giants' top prospect and is listed as such across the baseball landscape. That kind of praise and promotion could go to a 20-year-old's head quickly, but Eldridge remains grounded despite his 6'7" frame.
There's a lot of expectations going into this year, but you know, I've really, you know, had those expectations on me from an early age, and you know, that's a blessing.
Eldridge shares an odd distinction with former Braves standout Andrew Jones in that each of them were only in Richmond about 2 weeks as they rose to the major leagues. Jones is a borderline Hall of Fame player, while Eldridge is still looking to make his mark with the Giants organization at the big league level. In Scottsdale, Arizona, Lane Casadante, CBS 6 Sports.
CBS 6 Sports, sponsored by Toyota.
Good evening from Washington, D.C., where the VCU Rams got their A-10 tournament underway this afternoon against St. Bonaventure. This was the first time VCU has played in a week since a regular season finale loss to Dayton at the Siegel Center last week, and they made sure that losing streak would end at 1.